The morning Victoria Langford decided to summon the authorities on me for what she called unauthorized angling in her precious community pond was the very instant she unwittingly sealed her own departure from our quiet haven. There I stood at the break of day, my line whispering into the still waters of Silverwood Reservoir, just as I'd done for over 2 decades, when this piercing tone shattered the serenity like shards of glass scraping across metal, accusing me of invading what she deemed exclusive association territory. The local lawman pulled up, his face etched with reluctance, mumbling apologies as he relayed the grievance, forcing me to reel in and retreat under her watchful gaze, that smug expression of hers gleaming in the early light as if she'd just claimed victory in some grand conquest. The sharp click of my gear case shutting felt like a thunderclap across the expanse, echoing my resolve. What this outsider failed to grasp was that I wasn't merely granted leave to cast here. I held dominion over every inch of that shimmering body, every ripple and depth, and she'd been extorting my fellow dwellers with steep dues to enjoy what was rightfully mine. Now was the moment to show a tyrant that certain serene spots harbor sharp teeth ready to snap back. Tell me in the comments, what would you do if a meddler tried to snatch away your cherished retreat? And where are you tuning in from today? I assure you, tales of neighborhood tyrants abound in your lives too. I'm Elias Hawthorne, and I settled in Willow Creek Shores back in 2002. After losing my beloved Elena to that merciless thief called illness at just 47, I sought solace in isolation to mend the fragments of my shattered world. This modest parcel of 2 acres came via my. When your fingers are occupied, the ache in your soul eases just a fraction. The reservoir turned into my sanctuary. Each sunrise for 22 years, I'd send my bait into those shadowy depths as vapors. Slipway, this transcended mere pastime. It was rebirth. Silverwood Reservoir, a sprawling 35-acre gem fed by pristine underground sources, encircled by a blend of vintage retreats like mine and. We guarded one another's backs, lent equipment, divided catches during bountiful days. No one batted an eye at a vehicle showing more corrosion than shine, or a yard resembling a mosaic of greens. Route to a high-stakes conference rather than residing beside a tranquil basin, ex-regulatory executive from a southern metropolis, which accounted for her knack at transforming casual chats into aggressive overhauls. In mere days, Victoria convened what she termed a vital residence assembly. Her spiel centered on how Silverwood Reservoir demanded a formal alliance to safeguard valuations, rendered our enclave unique, angling limits, peer approvals, greenery mandates rivaling elite courses. Yet the true outrage, she asserted the reservoir was shared space necessitating quarterly. Received formal demands for compulsory affiliation. I rang her cordially, as instilled by my upbringing. Madam, I value your zeal, but I'll pass on participating. Her retort chilled like midwinter. Glossy placards sprouted around the banks like unwelcome blemishes, restricted alliance grounds, affiliates solely. The sheen caught the dawn rays, marring the organic splendor we'd always embraced. Openly, I persisted with my pursuits regardless. What alternative existed? This was my ritual, my tranquility, my link to Elena's essence. But Victoria positioned herself at her expansive pain with optics, snapping images as if I were a fugitive rather than a man seeking sustenance. That's when she initiated the call that ignited this inferno. Deputy Alex Turner arrived appearing as if he'd must request your departure. Victoria perched on her veranda in a soft-hued ensemble likely pricier than my conveyance installment, limbs folded with that triumphant grin of one convinced she'd. The following dawn, I learned Victoria had lodged an official intrusion claim with the district. Not merely a summons to Alex, a documented accusation bearing my identity, replete with visuals of me unlawfully utilizing Alliance waters. She'd chronicled my outings as though I orchestrated illicit operations instead of landing trout. In under 2 days, she'd arranged a crisis Alliance session on. She pinpointed 5 additional problematic estates encircling the reservoir. Martha Reynolds's bungalow with its whimsical yard figurines. The Garcia family's leisure retreat with the unsanctioned, unauthorized yard ornaments clashing with district aesthetics. Seriously, penalizing for pottery decor enduring since presidential eras past. Martha appeared at my threshold that twilight. her seasoned palms quivering like fall foliage clutching Victoria's pseudo-legal decree, the scent of her floral essence mingling with authentic dread. Elias, I can't decipher most of this. But they're demanding $75 daily till I banish my statues. Those were from my departed spouse. That's when I resolved to counter our oppressor as any sensible soul would, delving into exhaustive. Conversing with Evelyn Carter, a registrar employed there since ancient times. Evelyn possesses endurance rivaling sanctity and recall sharper than a vice. Young man, she remarked, peering at Victoria's alliance submission through lenses capable of igniting blazes. This filing's more tangled than a broth mishap, absent essential land outlines, perimeter assessments, and jurisdictional proofs. That's when Evelyn enlightened me on encroachment statutes. In essence, claiming dominion over terrain you lack rightful command is futile, regardless of signage proliferation. Any alliance must delineate its scope and mandate legally in records, perpetually authenticate assertions prior to disbursing funds, while absorbing title principles. Victoria intensified by engaging a plaza sentinel on leave. I approached him early Wednesday. Kidding grasp, Saul's grinding frost-laced stones. Greetings. Care to explain your statutory power to uphold alliance edicts? I grinned and launched my bait anyhow, the faint splash punctuating the discomfort. Enjoy your shift, lad. Remember to pose for those shots. The sentinel endured precisely 4 days before resigning. Hub specializing in alliance imposition, the halt order materialized as I mended Martha's entry riser, since that's neighborly conduct here. The juridical verbiage impressed, laden with terms like immediately and in accordance with, exacting $600 in processing charges plus prompt adherence to angling curbs. Martha scanned alongside, her countenance paling per clause. What's amusing? She inquired as my chuckles emerged. I tucked the dispatch into my garment. Victoria had provoked the erroneous pursuer. See, amid her lawyering and guard deployments, I pursued diligence. All neutral hides and inspirational decor extolling achievement and superiority, the atmosphere thick with lavish sense and urgency, she mustered her anxious cadre of 10 alliance affiliates. Each gripping infraction alerts like wards against reason. Asset preservation hangs in the balance, Victoria proclaimed, navigating her visuals like orchestrating a merger rather than tormenting. Then a locomotive through tissue. We cannot display vulnerability to defiant dwellers, she asserted, her timbre keen enough to slice gems. Yield a fraction, they seize the entirety, 3 days hence. Ensemble, savoring brew from fine, were costing more than my transport levy. When Walter Hayes appeared for his prescribed stroll, she directed toward a fresh emblem, exclusive alliance terrain. Members exclusively, madam, Walter voiced in his vintage courtesy. I've trod this route since 1990. Victoria's grin could solidify infernos, eras evolve. Mr. Hayes, protection and accountability necessitate oversight. That barrier broke tolerances for many. Victoria had obstructed reservoir entry for 4 aged inhabitants whose routines were medically mandated for cardiac health. Yet while she enacted local despot, I absorbed knowledge on aquatic entitlements. Returning to the hall, Evelyn Carter extracted cartography and tomes like leading a seminar in estate jurisprudence. The dusty odor of vintage logs intertwined with her resolve to aid. Elias, she noted, tweaking those dense specs. Aquatic entitlements are slipperier than a shell game. Adjoining water often grants utilization privileges, occasionally exceeding expectations. Aquatic entitlements signify bordering terrain frequently encompasses fluid usage, investigate if proximate to basins or streams since. Young man, this phrasing is atypical. Might merit probing what precisely your ancestor acquired from that extraction firm. While mastering juridical annals, Victoria amplified to outright persecution, lodging disturbance claims on my craft engine, alleging it disrupted tranquility at first light. She alerted district sanitation, contending my drainage jeopardized reservoir purity, compelling absences for audits revealing 0 faults. Then she contested my wharf's legitimacy, ironic given it antedated her existence. But herein lay Victoria's initial grave error. She grew avaricious and careless. I commissioned Assessor Mason Caldwell to chart my precise confines, funds wisely invested, Mason allocated morning halves to metrics, and the remainder to bewilderment, as if discovering trove. Elias, he indicated at his apparatus. Your track protrudes 40 feet deeper into the waters than anticipated. Moreover, I've noted hints of antique extraction. Assertions from the 1950s herein perhaps explore accompanying privileges from those primal acquisitions. That dusk, I discovered a packet in my post, premium stock, elegant script evoking heritage. Penmanship hinting elite schooling. The message urged, examine vintage Evergreen Extraction Corporation logs at provincial vaults. Evidently, a member of Victoria's faction harbored regrets. Concurrently, Victoria declared her reservoir enhancement initiative bankrolled by alliance levies. Intending to dismantle hazardous piers of veteran dwellers, she arranged consultation sans consent and termed obscured waves. One element shone like a sentinel beam. Enduring subsurface entitlements transferred eternally. Time for a journey to the Capitol archives. Since Grandfather Hawthorne hadn't merely imposition measures with the law enforcement for my persistent intrusions, replete with formalities and timetable for apprehension, the lady devised a penalty ledger, $75 daily for unsanctioned. Like wrathful orbs monitoring each toss, Victoria's crowning tactic was assembling a vigilant populace appeal to district overseers. She amassed 52 endorsements, chiefly from her fellowship and leisure associates unfamiliar with Silverwood Reservoir, save her curated online depictions of unchecked leisure perils. Her scheme: unveil the appeal at the forthcoming open session. I invested those spans sifting Evergreen Extraction Corporation dossiers from 1945 to 1964, uncovering more of my ancestors' dealings than kin gatherings disclosed. Revelations unfolded. Evergreen Extraction didn't solely lease resources. They procured all mineral and fluid privileges for or pursued. They proved valueless. Yet those entitlements persisted post-firm dissolution. Resource and surface claims can diverge in possession. Invariably inspect both near fluids or ex-industrial zones, as holdings may exceed presumptions. The trail gleamed like crystalline flow. Privileges descended to my sire in 1984, thence to me in 2002, but the pivotal revelation that flavored my brew with triumph. Those privileges encompassed reservoir bed proprietorship. Beyond mere extraction, every segment of basin floor from edge to edge lawfully mine. Homeward, Victoria undermined with the fervor of a foundering commander. She flagged my craft as derelict to provincial ecological bodies. She submitted accusations alleging unlicensed enterprise. Seemingly, a solitary with tackle-equated commerce in Victoria's skewed realm where rationale perishes. She disseminated whispers of fiscal arrears, amusing given my punctuality over decades. The audacity astounded. Meanwhile, Martha Reynolds conducted sleuthing rivaling experts. She exposed Victoria's alliance lacked formal registration. It functioned as casual cluster with authority matching a crafting guild. Elias, Martha shared over dawn brew, vapors ascending from vessels amid bacon wafts from her hearth. That ladies operated a scheme from inception. Harold Benson visited personally, appearing more distressed than a herbivore at a grill fest. He proposed settlement, lowered dues for restricted timetable. I declined graciously sans disclosing discoveries. Harold departed vexed, cautioning Victoria's tenacity. If he only comprehended her accuracy. Victoria engaged a sleuth to unearth my past, scavenging for offenses, encumbrances, leverage to tarnish. The investigator yielded not, but steady modest standing. Likely not the leverage Victoria funded. Her exasperation burgeoned like invasive vines in warmth. The boardroom ploys faltering against one desiring serene pursuit. That's when Victoria opted for escalation. She arranged an ultimate adherence conference at her domicile, staging it like adversarial bargaining with Harold as observer. She summoned me to settle maturely, anticipating her intimidation to fracture me. I consented, bearing my dossier. I'd traveled to the hub with grandfather's bundle, anticipating resolution or impasse. Whitaker scrutinized my papers with surgical meticulousness, sporadically jotting in script necessitating deciphering. Mr. Hawthorne, he intoned post 25 minutes of hush feeling eternal. This astounds. Your resource claims transcend below-ground holding. They embrace total reservoir floor proprietorship. Contemporary reading, immersion, navigation, angling, all align as affiliated, the ramifications assaulted like a tempest of equity. So when Victoria's alliance asserts reservoir holding. Entitlements. The quietude in that space so deep, my pulse audible. I didn't merely hold leave to pursue that reservoir. I commanded it. Victoria had executed a shakedown on my terrain for 8 months, fluid entitlements jurisprudence intricate, yet resource claims often surpass extraction in vintage conveyances predating current divisions. While grasping my battlefield dominion, Victoria issued ultimatum decrees like a commander warring her ranks, her cutoff, 2 days to remit alliance dues or confront swift measures. She professed power to shield communal stakes. Oblivious, she'd menaced the true holder. Whitaker's aid unearthed Evergreen Extraction's 1964 exhaustive reservoir mapping, intricate profiles, source sites, habitat sectors, the fragile charts. Oppression, district assessor conceding suspected anomalies, Deputy Turner tacitly logging torment sequences. Victoria timed her overseer display for Thursday, replete with visuals on unchecked entry. Eroding equities, she'd arranged sustenance, summoned press, reserved venue for her triumph gala, her utterance to herald. Post-Thursday, this reservoir shall be governed aptly. While Victoria schemed her enthronement, I assembled proof bundles, fiscal logs, images of illicit edifices, torment chronology, the crisp scent from duplicators blending with vault must as I constructed Victoria's downfall in multiples, the exquisite paradox. Victoria's inquiry revealed reservoir dues by E. Hawthorne. She presumed error, never linking to the pursued angler. Her summons vowed permanent resolution of entry disputes. I accepted, inquiring document inclusion, Victoria's glee at my presumed capitulation poised as her costliest blunder. The Strategy Council assembled at my lodge on Wednesday dusk. Martha, Evelyn, and Counsel Whitaker encircled my board like tacticians plotting invasion. Martha provided treats redolent of spice and justified fury, hearth embers mingled with brew, fragrance, and unified will of the oppressed. Very well, Whitaker stated, dispersing legals like schematics. Let's strategize revelation maximization. Evelyn advanced, specs reflecting glow. Consider the tormented kin. This transcends Elias. It's establishing oppression's futility against domiciles. Martha affirmed vigorously, brew nearly spilling. That lady penalized me $75 daily for ornaments, my spouse's gifts. Whitaker outlined paths with educators' tolerance for the aggrieved. We may pursue criminal intrusion on illicit installers on Elias's terrain, civil recompense for. Martha synchronized with harassed dwellers. 5 kin consenting to session presence as attesters, each with bogus alerts and illicit demands. Her board became headquarters, strewn with alerts. Visuals, scripted accounts narrating systematic oppression. The press facet coalesced via Evelyn's journalist contact at District Periodical, initially dubious on novice alliance claiming private basin. The scribe shifted post-conveyance view. This merits coverage, she conceded, ink and drive palpable remotely. I'll observe the session for sequel. Whitaker drafted a synopsis clarifying. Months. Occasionally oppressors must confront action's gravity. Deputy Turner privately divulged Victoria's measure timeline. She'd timed law presence for intrusion apprehension post-session. Victoria anticipated official endorsement for curbs, restraints if required. I readied conveyance duplicates for law department should they necessitate proof the intruder owned the domain. Our web expanded like undulations. Assessor ally consented presence with limits. Municipal council offered review. Provincial ecological contact poised to elucidate fluid jurisprudence if mandated. Each confirmation akin to fastening Victoria's enclosure. Victoria's session promotion aided us. Her digital broadcasts on entitlement safeguard drawing crowds. She summoned 4 alliance heads from adjacent, enlarging her downfall stage. Whitaker proposed utilizing for communal instruction beyond Victoria's retribution. He readied distributions on conveyance research, alliance validation. Safeguard from torment, listing hall contacts, assessor suggestions, 8 avenues. Every holder should grasp their conveyance. Most skim basics missing vital privileges or curbs, material preps. Attestation, ready to affirm my reservoir dues history. The overseer also disclosed Victoria never remitted on claimed waterfront as it wasn't hers. Ecological rep available remotely for overseer. Her assurance crested wrongly. Like commander rejoicing pre-conflict, I devoted Wednesday dusk extracting grandfather's primal extraction correspondence from storage unopened years. It honored lineage. I glanced timepiece. Session 20 hours distant. Victoria oblivious she'd confront one owning not mere spot, but arena. Time for final pursuit pre-transformation. Thursday morn. My device hummed with Victoria's critical alert pre-initial brew. Mass dispatch to dwellers alleging tip on reservoir fiscal default. Forging holding void. Her contention, Alliance must intervene. Against seizure. The barrage of alerts resounded as devices illuminated with her panic inducement, akin to false alarm in assembly. Safe fabricated and assembly serene waterfront. Victoria undeterred. Over fidelity. At Thursday's rushed Alliance, he queried extreme methods. Shouldn't we secure juridical view on reservoir, holding pre-session, his tone fraught with regret for misalignment. Victoria swatted like pest, holding 9/10 law. Herald, we possess emblems, barriers, files, they excuses. Harold's unease hinted re-evaluation of paths. Victoria's digital drive reached. Contrast noted. Martha remarked observers saw my peace versus Victoria's agitation. Dawn vapors ascended as Victoria's sharp timbre reverberated from veranda, commanding dwindling allies like. Faltering leader, Victoria's sleuth submitted final dossier Thursday noon. Unblemished history, humble means, esteemed by veterans, but noted flag. Subject holds more terrain than evident via conveyance. Her unity efforts imported 4 Alliance heads for solidarity session, each with defiant dweller tales. They schemed joint display of widespread defiance. Victoria fabricated narrative on. We sipped brew reviewing. Vapors as proof of case dissipation. Victoria engaged secondary counsel Thursday noon. Expenditure for opinion backing entry curbs. Counsel penned elegant based on. Coordination to oust defiant via fiscal strain and isolation. Inner defector arming me with torment proof. Victoria's press ploy rebounded. Contacting periodical on crisis, supplying my gear visuals. I devoted Friday noon placing formal limit indicators at line, requisite pre-confrontation on intrusion. Stake drives resounded like heralds of reckoning. My subtle devices captured Victoria's panic. On spotting indicators, pre-composure regained and herald summons for crisis. Community divided swiftly, locals aligned tacitly with me as Victoria's extremes mounted, several affiliates privately. Voiced method concerns, paper shifts as ex-allies distanced like deserters from doom. Victoria's irreversible Thursday dusk, she declared apprehension plans at session for intrusion. Coordinated outsourced for civilian restraint if law declined. Confirmed venue and photographer for documentation. Her words to remnants. Post tomorrow. His kind banished eternally. Bade into dawn haze at precise site Victoria claimed Alliance waters. The surface mirror-like. Mirroring dawn hues as if from bully-free realm, Victoria observed via optics, device already engaged. Her assured strides echoed returning indoors, likely victory rehearsal. Victoria devoted day rallying like invasion prep, arrived hall 2 hours prior with 4 Alliance heads, uniformed in deep coats like cult inception. Entourage bore coordinated files, displays, papers for domicile coverage. She claimed prime seating for backers, disseminated points on protection and equities. Tested visuals thrice for flawlessness. Her photographer equipped as royal coverage not fishing dispute. Herald voiced ultimate mandate worries. Timbre fracturing with historical misalignment. Despair. Victoria dismissed imperially. Herald, too advanced for frailty. I reached 6:50 p.m. Post-feudal morn pursuit. Symbolism evident. Bearing kit and slim file, as if lake wandered. My faded attire and Saul's clashed Victoria's polish and backers' uniforms. Martha, Evelyn, veterans dispersed like strategic forces, no clustering, mere presence awaiting. Chamber vibes intriguing. Commissioner Harlan convened at 7 o'clock sharp, post-mundane on paths and funds. Next, open remarks on Silverwood Reservoir entry and Alliance issues. Ms. Langford, proceed. Victoria ascended podium. Near levitating, her sleek visuals projecting like infernal pitch, graphs, stats, marketer envy, overseers, worried dwellers, she commenced, timbre honed assurance of unchallenged. Here representing Silverwood Shores Alliance on vital protection matter, her display refined, excessively, my gear shots labeled illicit commerce, charts linking equity dips to unchecked entry, petition quotes on rejectors and equity. I petition overseers grant Silverwood Shores Alliance imposition power over entry, endorse penalty scheme for intrusions, recognize us as governing for this resource. Backers cheered. Lensman caught Victoria's grin, herald floor sinking desire. Commissioner Harlan cleared vocally, slicing a claim like hammer, gratitude. Ms. Langford, comprehensive, pause. Scanning, responses, or views alternate. I elevated palm deliberately, like a weighted query. Victoria's smirk anticipated yield or stumbles, posture victory, shoulders erect, chin aloft. Victoria reclined front, expecting plea or terms. Instead, file open deliberate as supremacy, uttered words paling Victoria, overseers, clarify holding. Began appreciation, hook pre-detonation. Thanks overseers for time, process function, also Ms. Langford for fervent display on governance. Victoria's smirk broadened, thought capitulation, concur reservoir oversight vital, continued steady. Hence my dutiful dues 22 years on Silverwood Reservoir. Energy shifted atmospheric. Papers stirred deliberate echo and focus hush. Ms. Langford noted absent clear private holding, correct fallacy. Produced certified conveyance, seal visible afar. This conveyance, 1961 origin, establishes grandfather Samuel Elias Hawthorne. Sr. acquired full resource and fluid privileges from Evergreen Extraction Corporation. Victoria's visage smug to perplexed swift as signal shift. Privileges include total reservoir floor holding and eternal fluid entry for harvest and affiliates. Modern view, pursuit. Immersion, navigation affiliates. Place conveyance on desk like prime exhibit. Commissioner Harlan inclined engaged, Mr. Hawthorne, asserting reservoir ownership, not asserting, fact, own floor. Fluid privileges, dues annual since 2002 inheritance, whispers erupted swarm. Victoria surged upright, jacket less commanding, costume awry, impossible, voice panic fracture sans polish. Researched holding, can't legal. Lawrence Whitaker rose mid-rose. May I, overseers, Samuel Whitaker for Mr. Hawthorne, elucidate estate law. Commissioner Valdez gestured, drama captivating show. Grandfather to me, each logged, notarized, precisely, Whitaker added. Alliance Ms. Langford leads levied for private domain entry. Every alert, penalty, curb, entitlement interference attempt. Victoria's hue cream to pale to fury red, rage or crisis. Can't claim whole reservoir. Our stakes, equities. Commissioner Harlan silenced. Ms. Langford, reserve, Mr. Whitaker, dues verification. Evelyn stood, Commissioner, Evelyn Carter Title Bureau, affirm Mr. Hawthorne dues since 2002. Also Ms. Langford's alliance unregistered, no authority levy or curb. Fiscal overseer rear-voiced. Mr. Hawthorne owned terrain, laughter equity poetic side. Victoria seized bag, fled exit, Saul's frantic defeat drum. Festivity, Lensman, party awaited victor turned vanquished, scribe intercepted, MS. Langford, remark, no remark, shrieked shoving lot where crossover getaway. I lingered queries, grace over hubris. Week post-session awoke 6 months absent, utter quiet. No hums, no timbre. Mere avian cries, waves lap. District mandated illicit emblems, barriers, edifices removal 48 hours. Victoria's barrier gone Thursday morn. Devices Friday eve. Placards vanished swift. Resumed dawn routine sans torment. Vapors rose. Evergreen moist earth. Slipway scrape victory earned. 3 kin withdrew alliance days. Sans herald. Authority fiction. Dissolved swift. Remnants ceased dues. Removed emblems. Martha arranged Saturday repair. 25 appeared including ex-allies post true colors. Extracted posts. Mended. Restored path. Ex-members tools apologies. Pair barbecue redemption taste healing. Post thunks liberation. Victoria marketed property 2 weeks. Signed Tuesday. Departed Monday. Conveyance vanished. Toxicity with. Sold under value 50 days. Harassment repels equities. Newcomers Donovan family chose for pursuit, quiet. Offspring Wharf Rod's first weekend. Joy splash and waves respected all. Evelyn hosted entitlement seminar library. 83 districts. Whitaker volunteered sessions teach conveyance research. Alliance verify. Torment safeguard. Disputes from ignorance. Education averts battles torment. I drafted informal entry. Not funds. Community. Tales spread networks swift gossip. Two aggressives challenged educated. Overseers revised alliance standards stricter prevent futures. Martha's figurines restored expanded. Neighbors added including rod holder amusing, organized tour annual. Proposed yearly cleanup habitat, partnered ecological for guide, memorial fund grandfather vision, 3 scholarships. Environmental study. Private holding benefits communities steward, not control, care, annual Silverwood Shores Festival summer, celebrate unity, preservation, respect Victoria missed. Youth contests, adults tales barbecue, remind small matters. Mourn routine group reflection. Neighbors joined quiet companionship, shared brew, cast ritual preserved fight, back eased stress lift. Harassment toll unnoticed till cease. Martha's kin mentioned a kin alliance garden, council graft, seizure, I smiled brew sip, sunrise pain eternal, some never grasp oppressors meet match, told. Justice, not always penalty. Sometimes lessons ripple, shield unseen from unmet tyrants. And that wraps this tale of neighborhood justice, served cold and satisfying. But now I turn it to you. Was the takedown too harsh or perfectly deserved in the name of fairness? Does true justice lie in public exposure or quiet resolution? And where do we draw the line between community rules and